Good morning, sunshines. Click. How are you today? Another coffee with Karen. Oh my gosh, I'm so motivated. I hope you're doing well. So, I thought, now I'm not going to do this every day. I'm going to do it when I want to. Okay, so I'm not going to commit to anything. But usually when I don't commit to something, I end up doing it more often. You know what I mean? So, we are going to do during coffee with Karen. Besides just a little chit chat, we're going to do the energy for the day. Okay, so, and it's based on our community's natal chart. Okay, so the astrology that we talk about here, the, spiritual energy, the community energy, the political energy for the day is based on, well, the political energy is not, but the rest of it is based on our community's natal chart. So obviously not your individual one, but it's those who, so I put in, I worked with prompts to put in our specific astrology for when this community started, like the exact date, time, because I know exactly the time that I recorded the first video. And so just kind of keep that in mind. So if you wanted to do individual astrology or your individual natal chart, that's when you would want to work with somebody like Faye, okay, to really get the individual natal chart down, okay? So really, really helpful, the reports that she does. So just FYI, it's in our community directory. Check her out, okay? And I'll post the community directory right here. And it's always in the description below. I think it literally says like community directory. And then if you wanted to join, I think it's small business community directory or something like that. If you wanted to join the business correct directory, this is what you get with Coffee with Karen. Beep. Because I haven't had my full cups of coffee yet today. So, anyways, you want to join it, then there's a link for that below as well. Okay, so I needed to use this mug today because one, it just makes me laugh. Just really makes me laugh. Oh my gosh. But I'm not feeling like, that there's like a real reason like I'm a ray of effing sunshine today. I actually do feel like I'm just a ray of effing sunshine today. And I'm still laughing about one of the cards we pulled for yesterday from the Inner Effing Peace Oracle deck that said, get your sweet ass outside. I'm still laughing about that. I just saw it actually. I was looking at YouTube, our channel, and the video image is holding that card up. Get your sweet ass. So I really do. I think maybe I'll work on that today just because I find it so funny. I think I'll work on just a little series for our mug shop. Now we have a mug shop. This is in there. And thank you for supporting our channel. We appreciate that, however you support it, whether it's with a subscribe or a thumbs up, or you want to get this amazing mug in our mug shop listed below. I think I really am kind of motivated to do a sweet ass series. Get your sweet ass. Like I was even thinking in terms of voting, like get your sweet ass to the voting polls. I just think this is so funny. Sweet ass. Get your sweet ass. Because it's just kind of, there's humor to it. It's light, And just so you know, I'm just going to say, for people who are on a soul journey or a spiritual journey or a religious journey, whatever you're on, and are appalled at the swearing, because I know some people are, and it's totally okay if it turns people off, because I know like people have been raised for it to turn you off. Like I've had people say that, like, like I was raised to be proper and not, so I get it. I wasn't. It's not that my family swore, but my stepdad used a lot of swearing humor. Okay. And so he and I kind of have a similar sense of humor. So anyways, so what was I saying? So sweet ass, swearing. I was going somewhere. Yeah, so you could do things like, I don't know, I had a point I was gonna make. How do you like my hair today? See, when you get coffee with Karen, this is bedhead time. I can't remember what I was gonna say. I went off on the like, it's okay if you're appalled with swearing. Oh, I know. I got it. It came back. Um, I have learned from reading Let Your Spirit Guide Speak. If you have not read that book, I highly recommend. We do have a book club series in the Spirit Circle, so you can always come in. It's done, but you can always come in and listen to all the videos on that. Okay. It's really fun. And she clearly says, at least this is the message she got from her guides, is that the spirit world is all about, not all about, but is very much into humor, okay? And laughing and enjoying. So don't worry about swearing in terms of like, I don't think it's an immoral thing. Like some people might think it is, and that's okay. Like if you don't want to, but it's just try not to judge people if they use it for humor anyways. It's one thing if you're gonna, swear at a kid. Actually, I did, this was very off-putting, but I was going to the gym and there was a young mother and her child. The kid must have been like 9 years old, and she was using the F-bomb on her, like at her. And I was like, it didn't feel good. So that's a different kind of energy, right? Cut, clear, cancel. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Teresa Caputo. So if you're not sure who Teresa is, she's her show, I think on TLC or Lifetime. It's one of those. I don't even know if she's still on there, but her show is called The Long Island Medium, Long Island. So she lived on, I think she still does, on Long Island in New York. And so she was in town where I live yesterday. And, well, I don't live there, but, around the area. Not being very specific, trying not to be specific. But I wonder if anybody else from the community was there last night. Anybody? Anybody there? Anyways, it was fun. It was first, let me just say it was fun. It was fun to be with her in person. She looks exactly like she does on TV. It was like basically 2.5 hours of watching her TV show, basically. It was really very consistent to what she does on TV. There's a few things I've become aware of since going to see John Edward and now seeing Teresa Caputo, like within a 3-month period. Okay, both of them had shows where I live. And what I've come to realize, and this was packed, this was sold out, except for there was one seat. This is an interesting story. Okay, there was one seat, and the fact that this seat was empty could have been planned. I'll just tell you that. I'm not a sucker. I don't know. It could have been planned. However, somebody in the audience mentioned something that maybe wasn't planned. I don't know. Using discernment, you just never know. You never know. But what I have learned from both of them, they were really there was a lot of times where she was able to get very, very specific. Okay. There were other times where things were very general and you'd be like, well, yeah, you could say that. You could pull that out of anybody, that type of thing. And I'm not saying she is at all. Not at all, because most of the time she got to very, very specifics with people. So I would say in like a 2.5 hour period, she was able to talk to like 15 people in the audience. But because of the way she does it, it pulls in the entire audience, And don't let me forget to talk about the national anthem and my reaction to that. Oh my God. I better write that down so I don't forget it. Because now I'm going to figure out what I was just talking about. Anyway, so she talked to like 15 people. And what I've come to realize is that most people, this is my guess, I don't know 100%, But most people who sign up to go to those may be just like me and just curious and, just like to be in that environment. I'm not sure I do like to be in that environment anymore. I'm not sure I'm going to keep doing that. It was fun to just see her in person, but everybody that she talked to is grieving, like in the depths of grief. And I think they go because of that grieving process, And yeah, I get it. Like, I totally get it. But it's just, that's the energy in the theater. And then you hear these like pretty horrific stories, not horrific, but like children dying. Like one couple, their child just died in a car accident. He must have just graduated from high school. That was the last story we ended it with. And, it's pretty recent. Like one woman's mother just died 3 days ago. Now, she probably had already had the tickets to go, probably, because she was actually quite up close. She was like near us. So we were in like the 13th row. But, so obviously she probably got the tickets before, but her mom came through, which was kind of cool. After only 3 days, her mom's been gone for 3 days. So, there was one story, I'll tell you this, but you won't be able to get it out of your head. So fast forward right now. This is a trigger warning. Just fast forward like 15 seconds if you don't want to hear this story. Okay. But I mean, cause just like, I'm like, what the, like, why would a soul why would anybody, I don't know. There had to have been some kind of mental illness going on. And there was, because, oh, now you're going to have to fast forward more than 15 seconds. Let me just tell you what it is real quick. So fast forward right now. Okay. If you don't want to hear this. So, this woman's husband committed suicide while they were sleeping in bed. He shot himself with her sleeping next to him. I mean, I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, back. But I'm like, are you kidding me? I just, and there had to have been some kind of, there was some kind of medication involved. He had to have been just out of his, like, something. There had been some medication involved. He had been trying to wean himself off the medication because he wasn't feeling good. And I think he was not doing it under doctor's care, weaning himself off. So I don't know, but why? I mean, again, if it is 100% true that we plan these things, why would you do that with your spouse next to you? And she has 3 little kids. Her kids are like this happened like a year ago too. She was almost screaming, crying. She was screaming, crying. It was awful. So this is, so don't go to these. If you don't, I mean, and then the whole crowd is crying. Like, I almost need to do a clearing today. I need to cut some cords, actually. I'm going to cut some cords. And it's really interesting because of all this spiritual work that I've been doing. I was more horrified by just the story of that than the fact that he unalived himself. Just because I understand the spiritual journey we're on now, like much more than, that since I've been doing this channel with you guys. Like, I've learned so much, because the difference I think with a lot of YouTube channels is they're the expert and they're coming on and teaching you something where I'm not. I'm the facilitator and getting the answers and exploring things with you. You know what I mean? And so I have learned so much, and I just was really like chill about all that, and almost just letting go of control, but wanting people to be at a place where I'm at. But you got to let go. Everybody's at a different place. But to understand that their loved ones are like right there with them, and that they just went back home versus, they're just on this vacation. But when you're in the midst of grieving, you can't see those things, you know. So, and I'm sure most people in that, obviously everybody in that auditorium has some kind of spiritual, religious something. Probably not as much religious, because why would they go to that? They wouldn't go to see a medium if they weren't, had the belief in that. It was kind of interesting because she called on one guy, and he was kind of like sitting in the corner, and of course she makes you take a microphone. At least you don't have to stand up, because they had with John Edward, he didn't have as many people in the crowd. She filled an entire auditorium, like big auditorium, where they do Broadway plays. So John, not so much. But John would have people stand up. But she would just come around with the camera, and there was two cameramen. One would be on her, and one would be on the person that had the microphone. And it was very interesting. See, this is the kind of stuff I watch. There were two bodyguards, and they did act like, how they would act like with this, how the Trump's bodyguards would act. What are they called? Jesus Christ, I can't think today. Oh my God, this is what happens when I go out at night. I like my schedule of going to bed at my regular time. I woke up an hour or two later than I normally do. The Secret Service. But they had, the little things on. This one guy, the whole time, he was just like, the whole time just looking around at people. It was very distracting. It wasn't distracting, but I was watching him a lot. I was like, how do you just sit there? Like, what do you think's going to happen? I wonder, like, how many people actually, like, try to, but you never know. Like, somebody might sign up, and they do have a metal detector unfortunately going through the theater now. That's new as of like 5 years. But you can see why they would have to. It's a lot of people in one place, It's really unfortunate. Thanks, Republicans. But thanks, NRA. But thanks, greedy people. So anyway, so it was interesting because she had two bodyguards, and they would follow, they kind of stayed back, but they would follow, Other people might not have noticed. I've noticed all that kind of stuff just because I like to pay attention to the production of things, But anyway, so there's this guy sitting in a corner, and she starts saying that, your dad wants you to know he's old, probably a little bit older than I am, probably like in his 60s or something, and wants you to know that, he's really proud of you. He's not disappointed in you, and he did not want the microphone. He gave it to his wife. He gave it to this wife, and you could just see, of course, yeah, it was just so sweet. That was so sweet. Real, probably introverted, probably very private, probably had no idea he'd be called on. But he probably left. He didn't look like it was, it probably had been it was something he needed to hear, versus like he might not have been somebody who was currently grieving, But his wife, Teresa, said, because I'm sure Teresa's used to this kind of stuff. She's like, I'm sure your wife dragged you here, didn't she? And the wife said, yep, I did. And then he didn't say anything to the wife. Teresa, he was talking to the husband. So, the chair thing. So did you guys know, you might know this, I've never heard this before, that number 143 means I love you. 143. So 1 meaning I guess, like one letter. 4, LOVE. I didn't catch this. My girlfriend that I went with, she looked over and she's like, it must be 1 LOVE, and then 3 is YOU, right? Well, anyway, so Teresa said she just happened to look down on the chair. The one chair open in the whole theater. So I have a feeling she probably orchestrated that, just because, the one chair open in the theater. And then she was like, look at that. I can't believe I just happened to look down at that. It might have been real. But about 4 people down from her said, my mother's grave has 143 on it. And I'm like, cool. So that was kind of a cool connection. So whether that the seat opening was planned or not, I'm not sure. Um, but I never heard of 143. I thought when Teresa first said it, she said, "Have you heard of it?" And I thought she was going to say it was some kind of angel number. But yeah, so 143, I love you. 143 to you guys. 143. Okay, the national anthem. That is what is that? Is that what people sing when we stand up? Is it called the national anthem? You know, in the beginning of football games and stuff. I always get those. I know the Pledge of Allegiance. Do they still do the Pledge of Allegiance in the schools? Was that some kind of MK Ultra thing? Is that some kind of mind control thing? The Pledge of Allegiance. Did Reagan start that? I just wonder. Now I'm all suspicious about all that kind of stuff. Well, anyways, this freaked me out at the beginning, to be honest. Now, this is a very liberal place where I live, okay? Very, very liberal. Okay? College town, like big college town, okay? So, but they said, please stand for the national anthem. Is it the national anthem? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? You know, when they sing. You guys are going to hate Coffee with Karen because this is, no, you won't. Cut, clear, cancel. National anthem. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's not the Star Spangled Banner. The Star Spangled Banner is the national anthem. I got to play this. No, that's not. This is not the national anthem. That's not what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? You know. Hang on a second. Wow, talk about a brain block. Yes, it is the national anthem. It just didn't sound right to me. Okay. So, anyways, right before she comes on, they said, please stand for the national anthem. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, my first reaction was like, okay, because I'm in a theater and I know Trump is like doing stuff with theaters now. And I was like, did they require this? I mean, it freaked the shit out of me. I thought, oh my God. But then, okay, so like I stood up and I'm like, everybody's, you know, I think everybody was like that because then people are like, oh, thank. And then, you know, the applause. It was just weird. But she came out then and said, now the reason I do that is because, you know, and she thanked the veterans, which was great. They were, you know, we applauded for them. Amazing. And so she said, this was for you, for you. But then, so then I leaned over to my girlfriend and I'm like, I just really freaked out. I thought maybe that was about Trump, you know. But then the more I think about this, like I just didn't have time to process it because it just surprised me so much. And which is really unfortunate that I feel so defended, you know, like about that. That's how I feel about the national anthem. That's not good. I mean, that's not good at all. Like, I just felt very defensive about it, you know? But then the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why would Trump have us play the national, you know, it's about freedom, right? So I think all this learning about MK Ultra and stuff has gotten me kind of thinking about all these little things. It makes me want to listen to that song a little bit more clearly to see what's in there. Is it truly about our freedom, or is there like some kind of conditioning that's going on in that song? I don't know. Anyways, but that freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, is Trump making us sing this? I literally had that thought. I'm like, okay, I need to take a chill pill. Nobody else, but I don't know if anybody else in the audience did. I'll have to ask my friend I was with. I mean, I planted that. She kind of went like this to me, but she might have been appeasing me. You know what I mean? I have no idea if she felt that way because she's not really paying attention. And she's in her 40s. She's raising a 5-year-old. So, you know, she's got stuff on her. And actually, we went out for dinner first, and her dad is at the end, like the late stages, not transitioning wise at this point, but, you know, a lot of health issues. So she's like really that, she's got a 5-year-old and an 84-year-old. And she's like his only care provider. He does live somewhere else, but, appointments and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, so yeah, so, people have shit going on. They can't be wasting their time with dumpy all the time. Okay, well, that's all I got for you. I did remember to talk about the national anthem. Okay, well, let's look at the energy for today. So the energy and predictions report, okay? So we've got spiritual energy and predictions. So today, so around August 20th, which is today, the retrograde season deepens. We're urged to pause, reflect, and allow clarity to rise. Old illusions dissolve. Oh, this is part of my dissolving, like the old illusion of what the national anthem even means, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it's fine, and I'm dissolving the illusion that it's not fine. You know what I mean? That's something I've always felt a little weird about it, to be honest. It's always felt a little cultish to me. I have to be honest about that now that I'm thinking about it. When I stand up and, I don't always feel proud about it. I don't know why. I don't think I ever have, to be honest. And I'm not saying that's good at all, but maybe that's an old illusion that's dissolving. I'm not sure. And the truths that were hidden may surface. So truths that were hidden may surface. Spiritually, this is a reset day where what we once thought defines us no longer fits. Interesting, right? So spiritual practice you could implement today is begin a journal entry with a prompt, what illusions am I ready to release? Let yourself free write, even if it doesn't make sense at first. So collective energy and prediction. So the prediction today is collective emotions run deep today. I wonder if it's any deeper than other days. Many may feel the heaviness of uncertainty, but breakthroughs of truth are possible. A collective aha moment could ripple through society. Oh, see, this would be kind of fun now if I could actually tie it together and remember things, is to come back tomorrow and actually look at yesterday. But that would take a lot for me to be like, was there a collective aha ripple through society? How would I even know that? You know what I mean? Okay, spiritual practice. Meditate with the intention of tuning into collective energy. Send compassion outward in a short 5-minute prayer or visualization. You could use rose quartz as the crystal recommendation. Okay, political energy for the U.S., okay, and predictions. Expect disclosures or narrative shifting in the political sphere. Retrogrades stir review of leadership and accountability, and truths may begin to leak. I like it. I like it a lot. Just be ready. I think we're ready for it. I'm ready for it. Political drama may carry undertones of restructuring or exposure. Okay. We see you, political predictions. Got my fingers crossed. All right, spiritual practice. Pull a card or pendulum reading specifically for the U.S. political climate. Ask, what is hidden that needs to be revealed today? See, I could do some fun things and like maybe do another video for today with something like that. When I'm inspired to do that, I will. Okay, maybe put one out at like 7 or something when I don't have a 7 p.m. video. Okay, so predictions based on Trump's natal chart. Trump faces a day of revisiting past choices. Oh, good. Do you think he'll feel any guilt? Old words or actions may be spotlighted. His chart reflects tension between truth-telling and attempts to control the narrative. Oh, that's not surprising. Nothing new there. Okay. Predictions based on the U.S.'s natal chart. The U.S. chart shows a day of awakening around communication and truth. So that's very similar to the society having an aha moment rippling through society. So hidden truths may crack open, forcing deeper national conversations. Okay. Let's see. This one's kind of interesting. Systemic patterns and ideology forecast. Narratives rooted in wealth consolidation and religious control continue to be tested. Expect cracks in the old system to be more visible today. Well, the good, I mean, even though like something like we may not see that, it's good to know that it's continuing to happen though. Cracks in the old structures. That's what we need. We need the cracks. We need this cracks. Poof. Poof. But when it goes poof and it, I think that's when it's going to be the most intense, when that happens. And then we get to probably have weeks of like, oh my gosh feeling. And then after that, start building back up. We're going to probably have that grieving. We could go through a whole grieving process if that happens, where you get the cracks and then everything breaks. And then we'll go through probably a collective grieving process. And then once we get to acceptance, we will be able to start building back. That's just my gut. Okay. Economics. That's because the market's not doing well today, I noticed. Financial systems. Now, we did get a message about 4 or 5 days ago, and a pendulum message, and they said, watch your money. Remember that? That wasn't financial advice. But that is proving to be true this week, I've noticed in the markets. So financial systems may feel shaky. Retrogrades highlight review of currency, debt, and economic inequality. So we're back to this. I love that. We have got to get the whole economic inequality, the cracks of how that happened. We need to get those cracks just far and wide and let that thing collapse so that we can clean that up. Okay, so a sense of wait and see dominates. Spiritual practice, revisit your budget or spending habits today. Ask, what am I doing? What am I ready to refine? And then pyrite, which is fool's gold. I'd forgotten somebody had mentioned that before when pyrite came up, attracts abundance and encourages wise financial choices. That's interesting. Okay. Individual financial energy. Personally, money matters may feel slowed today. Avoid rushing decisions. So do the review. I'm glad I read that. So do the review today and say, what do I need to refine? But don't rush into anything right now. This is a review and plan phase, not a leap forward day. Okay. Create a gratitude list of financial blessings you already have. I think that's amazing. Gratitude opens the flow. Okay. And finally, our community energy. The community feels a sacred pause. Our role today is to witness and reflect rather than act. This strengthens our foundation of truth and clarity. So as a spiritual practice for our group today, as a group, hold space for stillness. A short community meditation or prayer circle is powerful today. I'm not going to do that because I'm not very good at those things. You should hear me do like if I read a meditation in the spirit circle. I've learned to slow down, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's as effective. Faye does them. Every once in a while she provides us with a free like 2-minute. Those are amazing. I've posted them in our posts before. Thank you, Faye. So you can do that on your own though. Let's just hold space for stillness today. If all of us did it, whoever listens to this, let's just do it on our own, but know that we're doing it collectively. Okay. So that would be great. And you can use clear quartz to amplify that intention of clarity and unity. So, all right, you guys. Well, I will see you join me at the 2 p.m. video today, 2 p.m. Central, because this is very good. The next 2 SG videos that I have coming up, I always think they're good, but because I always learn so much. But this is getting to really what's going on with Trump and Putin. And then on Friday, really getting to all the different things that Trump has put into place over the last 8 months and how much of it has actually taken root, which you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Not much of it. So it will help you relax, I think. It'll help you, especially going into the weekend. So, all right, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure. Don't count on it, but I might be. When people count on things is when I don't want to do stuff. It's so weird. I'm such an Aries. But if you don't count on it, I'll probably show up tomorrow. All right. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.